I know most people know debt. Debt is just another trap. We're told in school to get a good job, to take out loans, and then spend literally decades, if not ever, paying them off. And in that time, a lot of people don't even question the system because they're too busy trying to survive. I just saw a girl who realized that she had 17% interest and was like, I've been paying all this money and I can never afford to pay this back. And then her credit, and she can't get a house, and now she can't get a car, and she can't escape, and it's all by design. The ones in power don't care if you suffer. In fact, if you're suffering, they actually need you to suffer more. They need you in a mode of suffering and survival so that you can't think about actually rebelling and organizing. You won't have a time to remember that you were never meant to live like this. There's a rupture point. More and more people are waking up to this lie. They heard a podcast. They might have read a book. But more importantly, their bodies literally can't take it anymore. They're exhausted. The anxiety is overwhelming. They have meaningless labor that they go to. Then the debt is not going anywhere. And the dreams that they have are actually getting pushed farther and farther away. And so many people are realizing that's not living. It's an alternative. There is an alternative. And it is based in land-based living, communities, shared childcare, food sovereignty, time banking, off-grid structures, decentralized modes of value. This is a return. This is the great remembering. This is what we call the economy. It's the law of nature. It's not a belief system. It's actually what we are. So when the truth comes out that there's no freedom that is going to be found in a system that requires you to earn your right to be alive, especially in poor Black and brown communities, in schools that are resourced to they're not resourced to educate. They're resourced to surveil, to sort, to discipline, to condition. When you walk into a school building and you see metal detectors and police officers, cameras, and then you have hall passes and punishment-based behavior charts, zero tolerance policies. This is for our children. Children who are often dealing with their own trauma and food insecurity and unstable housing and chronic stress and maybe death and illness. They are being trained from the very beginning to expect authority to be armed, to expect their bodies to be criminalized. They expect to be shouted at and searched and doubted. And the kids who resist, who can't sit still, who act out, who don't submit, they are given a very clear label, right? They're suspended, expelled, arrested. By the time they're 10 years old, many of these kids already have a record, or at least a prescription, right? And then that record follows them, and the prescription follows them, and they're tracked into alternative schools or remedial programs, and then they're on probation, and then they're in management systems. And this all is a pipeline, straight to the juvenile detention, then into adult prisons, and it can go either way, or into the medical system, right? It's one of two pathways. This isn't a theory. This is a really documented pattern. It's called the school to prison pipeline. And then we have the school to medical pipeline. It's operating in plain sight for decades. It's not the teachers, and it's not the parents. Us blaming teachers and parents, it is the structure designed to move non-compliant children into carceration systems, because incarceration is profit. Private prisons actually have quotas. We're seeing that right now with ICE. They literally have contracts that require a certain number of beds to be filled. Same exact thing as they're building more of these detention centers. If those numbers drop, the state actually gets penalized. So they need bodies. And where do they get them? Schools. Systems do not nourish us. They neglect. They neglect the neighborhoods that have been systematically underfunded, over-policed, redlined, disinvested. This is structural. This is targeted behavior.